Welcome to Set Apart Podcast. My name is Oscar, and today we have a special guest on the show, Orlando Mendez, the Cuban Cowboy, and we're really excited to have him on and to know more really about you and what you're all about.
Let's get it. I'm sitting here drinking at the southernmost tip down in the Florida Keys, about to take my last rum-filled sip, and suddenly it came to me. I looked out across the ocean to see if I could see the island where I came from, that's still a part of me. And sure, I ain't never been there, I ain't never touched that sand, but it's where my family came from, and it makes me who I am. This deep-rooted connection, at times I don't understand, but as I'm sitting here right now, I'll tell you, man, there's only 90 miles and a cigar in my hand between me and the motherland.
Yeah.
Awesome.
You good?
Yeah, great.
Bro, what does that mean? What does that song mean to you now? Because when you wrote it, you probably had like an intention for that song. But what does the song mean to you now after it's come out for, a few months now?
Man, it changed everything for me, That song, I got a lot of story to tell, but that song was one of the first songs I ever wrote. When I started playing guitar, when I started, writing music, that's one of the first songs I wrote, and it's because at that period of my life, I started losing some of the most important people in my life, and it was my abuelos, who had sacrificed so much, who had done so much for me to be here in this country, and that's what flowed out of my heart, was just an appreciation for them and that sacrifice. I wrote that song, it flowed out of me quick one night.
It was quick?
It was quick, bro, like a couple hours, man. That whole song just flowed out of my heart, and then I held on to it for like 3 years.
Wow.
For like 3 years, I didn't want to release it because I knew it was too important to go on deaf ears, and I wasn't there yet where people were going to hear it.
Wow.
And then last year, decided to put it out there, bro, and the reaction, it was the biggest blessing of my life so far.
What was the feedback from the Hispanic, let's say Cuban people?
Man, the feedback and the reaction has been everything. It was like, that's my story, People come up to me like, that's my story. That's the story of my family too. Some people who've never been to Cuba like me, but just feel it through the love that their abuelo or their parents shared, with them about this island.
I think that's crazy because a lot of like Cuban Americans have never been to Cuba, and a lot of all like my parents, my abuelos, they would never have gone back to Cuba. And my parents, they always say, ojalá que me puedo ir a Cuba ante yo morir, but they'll never go back because of communism. Does that ever kind of impact you in the way where you feel like, damn, I'm not really from Cuba, but I'm singing about Cuba and I'm like preaching about it?
For sure, and I've had I've had thoughts about that too. Like, I've never been there, so like, what is it to sing about a place that I've never been to?
Yeah, they have like this almost feel bad, almost.
Right, almost like a little bit of guilt. Like, how am I gonna sing about this island I've never been to? But I feel like that story is so common because, like you said, the generation that came, the hurt was still so real because of what they went through.
Yeah, it bled into all of us.
It bled into us, and so that hurt was so real that they couldn't go back. And my abuelos didn't want me and my parents to go back. Yeah, still, till the day they passed, they didn't want us to go back. But the love for like the place they came from, the love for the island that made them, is so strong that I felt it 2 generations later. And that's the magic of the song, is just this love, this adopted love through the people that you love and the people who made you.
I love it. Introduce yourself, because sometimes people might think of you as Cuban Cowboy. How long has the Cuban Cowboy been around?
Bro, that's been around. That name has been around for a couple of years now. At least like 3 years since I was playing shows here in Miami.
So introduce yourself, name, where you're from, grew up doing what?
Yeah, my name's Orlando Mendez. I'm the Cuban Cowboy. Grew up here in 305, born and raised in Westchester.
Nice, me too.
In Westchester. Yeah. And, came up through these streets and, after a lot of years and moving back here to Miami, started doing country music, and I started it right here.
So when did you actually start? Well, we're gonna talk about that. When did music actually become a thing in your life?
I've been singing my entire life. I since I was a kid, I had a passion for singing. I grew up listening to my dad's music, which wasn't the.
Your dad sings too?
No.
Oh, the music that your
the
dad
music
would play?
that my dad would play.
Wow.
My dad's can't sing at all.
Yeah.
Can't even clap on beat.
Can anybody in family sing?
Nobody.
Oh wow.
One of my tío on my mom's side, he would do choir and stuff, and so he's the only other person other than me. But my dad is a passionate music fan, bro, and it's not the type of music you would think. I grew up listening to like punk and grunge and like
And
rock. Yeah, that was my dad's stuff.
So where did the country come from?
Bro, I found the country on my own. I was probably 14 or 15 years old. I had a girlfriend at the time, and like freshman year of high school, who enjoyed country music. And I remember the person who I found was Darius Rucker. That was the first country artist she ever showed me, was Darius. And I remember thinking, dude, this voice is super familiar, bro. Like, I know this voice, dog. And of course, Hootie and the Blowfish. And he's Hootie from Hootie and the Blowfish. And every Sunday, when the Dolphins would lose and get their ass kicked, it was like, I'm such a baby. Yeah, the Dolphins make me cry. And so that just stuck so vividly in my head. I started to get into his music, into Darius Rucker's music. And then that brought me to people like Blake Shelton and Billy Currington, Dierks Bentley, all these, Eric Pasley, all these guys who got me into country music.
Well, Blake Shelton turned around for you once, right?
Yeah.
So talk
on
to
The
us,
Voice.
Talk to us about The Voice and what was that experience like? Did you sign yourself up? Did somebody?
Yeah, so I didn't sign myself up for The Voice.
I feel like nobody signs themselves up for The Voice.
Some people do. Some people are like, I'm gonna go crush this, and they seek it.
The people good are like, the story's like, no, my friend was pushing me to do it.
Right. That's a lot of stories like that, and that was my story. I didn't want to be on reality TV. I didn't want to do American Idol or The Voice or anything. And as I was playing around here in Miami, obviously my friends would come to every show, and one friend of mine was like, I saw the other day The Voice is casting. He got an email about it. You got to sign up. I said, bro, I love you, brother, but I have no interest on being in that show. And he's like, well, if you don't sign up, I'm going to sign you up. He's like, and you're going to do it. Like, I'll sign you up, and you're going to have to do it. I was like, bro, whatever. Okay, I'll do the first round. It was virtual. I was like, no commitment, virtual. And, bro, 3-4 virtual rounds later, I was being flown out to LA.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about the day that you were actually there and people turned around for you.
Mm-hmm.
There's 4 people turned around for you, right?
Yeah.
You got all 4 chairs?
Yeah, which is crazy, bro.
Who were the
So
4? It
crazy.
was Blake Shelton, who else?
Blake Shelton, John Legend, Camila Cabello, and Gwen Stefani.
That's wild. Well, before you were in that moment, there must have been Orlando Mendez, like the little kid that, maybe didn't play baseball or didn't play sports or didn't do what people thought he was going to do, but he loved to sing and maybe play guitar. Did you ever have like that instance growing up where you were kind of like the odd man out, like the kid playing guitar and singing? And
well, what's funny is that I did grow up playing sports. I grew up playing football my whole life. Yeah, I played football my entire life from the age of 6. I started at 6 years old. I played till senior year of high school.
Wow. So music was like
Florida
another
Christian.
thing.
And music was actually my third thing, because my second thing was acting. So I was from the beginning, I was an oddball, bro. I would play football in the fall, and then I would act in the spring. I would do plays, like musical theater plays.
And they're like, yo, what's Orlando doing?
And like they were like, this guy's crazy, dog. Like this guy.
Now they really think
no one bridges that gap, And it was 2 passions of mine, bro. I'm freaking love sports. Football is my life, but also the stage is my life, and being able to do both growing up was like the most incredible thing ever. I had team environment in football and team environment putting on these shows, and it just showed me a lot. I learned a lot. And then music didn't come till later. Like I said, I've always sang, but it was more for like, musical theater stuff and plays and choir stuff. When I really got into it by myself was over the pandemic.
Wow. Talking about we'll talk about the pandemic. What happened on the pandemic? You're just by yourself. You started writing, playing songs, and what was the difference between the pandemic and, before the pandemic?
Yeah, so I was acting before the pandemic. So I went on, I kept the dream of like theater and acting. I studied at the University of Florida. I studied theater. And after, I was back and forth from Miami to New York.
Is that where you know Roby from?
Yeah.
That's great.
We were in Amparo together.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I actually took over from him in Amparo.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so I was back and forth from Miami to New York doing plays and auditioning for stuff, commercials, things like that. And then, obviously, COVID shut all that whole industry down. I was back at my parents' house sitting there and wondering what I was going to do with my time.
And your life.
And my life. And I look over and there's this guitar in the corner. And I'm like, bro, I've tried to play this instrument like 2-3 times in my life and I've quit. I have all the time in the world now. I'm going to do it. And sat there, bro, YouTube University. You can learn anything on YouTube, for real. And I taught myself how to play guitar and then...
Including line dancing.
Oh, well, I haven't gotten into that yet.
How long did it take you to learn how to play the guitar then? Like officially in COVID?
I would say, probably 4 to 6 months, I started being able to play it enough that I could, carry a couple chords and be able to sing. Because it's hard to play and sing, especially if you're just starting. So like 4 to 6 months in, I was able to, play and sing. And then, after that, I was able to start obviously adding my lyrics, chords and melodies to my lyrics. Because I've always written and I've always felt like writing country songs, but I never could put anything to it. And finally, I was able to add chords and music to my lyrics and make actual songs.
And did you actually go to music school? Like,
No.
You taught yourself music as well?
Yeah, never stepped into a music school.
That's great. So the thing that you went to school for, which was acting, it kind of, not that essentially it stopped.
It stopped, yeah.
It stopped. And you pivoted.
Yeah, it's never died for me. I've always enjoyed
No, you're an artist. You're creative.
acting. Yeah, I've always enjoyed acting and still do. And I hope at some point in my career here I can get back into it. And make that crossover, but music just took over in such a powerful way, bro. Like the pandemic hit, started writing these songs, and immediately, like once I started playing shows, I knew this is what I want to do.
So how does that work? Like, so you're doing the song, like you're learning guitar, you're mastering, you have your songs, you start writing your songs.
Yeah.
You're like, you start calling people, hey, this is, I don't even know, like I'm looking for a gig. Do you know anybody that I can play for it like that? Like,
So the way it really got started was I was playing by myself, my guitar, jamming country songs in my room. And one day I'm scrolling Facebook and I see a buddy of mine from elementary, middle, and high school. He's in his garage playing electric guitar by himself. And I'm like, bro, Chris, what's up? Like I reach out to him like, Chris, what's up, bro? I've been learning guitar, playing my acoustic guitar and singing by myself in my room. You want to jam sometime? And we didn't have anything to do, bro.
Yeah,
and he's
course.
like, yeah, bro, slide
like, you
over.
don't got COVID? Come on over.
Yeah,
here.
come on over. And even if you do, dog, like get over here. We got into his garage, which we called the sweat teepee because no AC in there, middle of summer. And we just started jamming, bro, playing everything, rock songs, country songs, pop songs, and just starting to mess around with this. And then once we did that for months and kind of got pretty decent, started building a repertoire and a catalog, we started a duo called the O2 Band. And it's just me and him. And from there, we were like, man, let's get a gig. And the first person who would ever let us play a gig was my uncle at the time, who owns Pub Grill, a restaurant on 184 in US 1. And he's like, hey, we're having an anniversary party. Sure, yeah, you can play. We're gonna throw it in the back alley. Right. Bro, and the first gig we ever did was in a back alley of a restaurant next to a dumpster, next to a freaking garbage can, with 2 amps, which we ran our voices through and the guitars through.
Everything.
The most jank ghetto gig you can imagine, bro. And that's how we started. That was the first gig.
What was the feedback that day?
It was awesome. It was awesome, bro. People had a great time. They came out. They put lawn chairs out. They jammed to the songs that sounded like trash, but they jammed to it. And I knew right then, I was like,
this is it.
This is it. This is it. And from there, bro, we called every spot that would open up. Every spot that would let us play. We played parking lots. We played back alleys. We played whatever bar would be crazy enough to let us go inside. Yeah. And it was awesome.
So when did Orlando Mendez kind of like do its thing? You guys kind of split up eventually?
Yeah, so he eventually went on, and as things progressed and things opened back up, he got more serious again at work. I was seriously like, I want to make this my work. Yeah. And so the story of my band, I want to tell you the story of my band real quick, the Orlando Mendez Band.
One day as he kind of went, my friend Chris kind of went off, I was like, I want an actual band. So I went down to the Keys and I started passing out cards to play in any place I could find. I just wanted more gigs, and I was willing to do it by myself.
At this point, you're single. You're like, what? You'll sleep in your car if you have to.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, I'll do it by myself. I drove all the way down and hit every spot from Key Largo to Marathon. And on the way back, I was disheartened because no one gave me the time of day. And on the way back, I stopped at this last spot, the Tiki Bar, in La Mirada. And I was just sitting at the bar. I was like, bro, let me get a drink. I'm going to go home. I hand one card out here. And I was handing out this card. I look over, and on the stage, there's this guy setting up. I said, bro, let me go talk to him. The guy had a cool-looking guitar. I was like, what's up, guys? Hey, listen, I'm an artist. Yeah, I'm trying to get a band together, this and that. He's like, man, let me connect you with this guitar player. His name's Sebastian. Bro, from there, I made, like, they got me into the Tiki Bar. I showed up the first day to 4 guys. I didn't know who they were. And 2 of those guys became permanent members of my band. And got a guitarist, bro, and we started ripping it up in the Keys and in Miami.
Just shows you can't give up, you know? Like,
you can't, bro. You can't. It's persistence. That's how Orlando Mendez band got started. And we spent years here in Miami just playing country.
I love it, man. I think it's crazy because every like business, even like ours, we kind of have like those moments where there's a lot of doors. We're talking about it before the pod starts. You know, we don't have new projects. You know, all of our projects, we finish a project and that's it. You have to find a next client.
Yeah.
And it can be very disheartening, you know. It can be very lonely, you know. Like I can feel like being at that bar, like having a drink, like, and then there's like a client or somebody that I'm like, hey, my name is Oscar, John Doe Construction, you know. If you never, and then I've had those opportunities where you're like, it's crazy, like God kind of like, you know, keeps pushing you in the direction that He wants you, but also that you feel like this is where I want to go, you know.
Absolutely, and the doors open at the most. I feel like the doors open the widest at the lowest time, like at the lowest points in life. I've seen that again and again and again, at least in my life and in my career, is like at the most disappointing, disheartening moment is when that door that you've finally been looking for kind of swings open.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
How does it feel to be like, essentially, do you consider yourself famous?
No.
What do you consider yourself? Semi-famous?
Nah, just
well-known.
Just a little known here in Miami, which is cool.
How does it feel to be known? Because 5 years ago you were in the what was it called, the sweat tiki?
The sweat teepee.
The sweat teepee.
Yeah.
And now, you know, you might go somewhere and people might know who you are. Like, how have you accepted it? Do you like it? Because obviously you're an actor, you're an artist.
Yeah.
Now you're kind of just doing a lot of things but like, how does it feel to be in that spotlight?
It's awesome, man. It's awesome. Like, it's
A little addicting.
It is, for sure, but I think it's awesome just because my whole life I've just wanted to connect, you know? I've just wanted people to care about my art and to finally get that payoff of people listening and loving my music that's the biggest blessing for me, for real. Like, if somebody comes up to me at a grocery store or at a bar or something, say, hey, bro, I love your music. The other day I was walking into a Sedanos and some guy I hear from the park, Orlando, oye, ven acá. And I go to the car and this guy
only in Miami, bro.
Only in Miami, and the guy, bro, I'd never seen this person in my life, and he says, "Man, I love your music. I'm just a fan of your message and what you're trying to deliver." And that's the biggest blessing in my life, man.
Do you get that in Nashville? Because you're also in Nashville, all right?
Yeah,
So
yeah. I get it less in Nashville.
So talk to us about Nashville and why is Nashville important in your career path?
For sure. Well, Nashville came at an important part of my life. After I came off The Voice in 2022, I was like, I feel like I've done a lot in Miami and I've done a lot in parts of Florida. It's time to, like, The Voice gave me the confidence to know I could play in the game, like I was good enough to be in the ball game. And now it was like about taking this show to the big time.
How far did you get in the show?
Top 20.
Top 20.
Yeah.
Wow.
And before that, I had no gauge for how good or not good I was or how much I sucked. I had no gauge for any of it. I was doing it here in Miami as one of 2-3 country bands. So of course we were killing it.
You feel like you got better in The Voice? Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, that was the thing, is that it kind of it gave me the confidence to know that what I was doing was good enough and showed me some parts that I just needed to sprinkle some love on.
And did they help you with any of that?
Yeah. For sure. Camila Cabello, who's my coach, really taught me to embrace some parts of my voice that I've never embraced before. You know, and how to connect a few of those, and then ultimately how to embrace your star power. You know, what makes you what makes you unique. That's your gift.
That's crazy. I look at the show and like I see all these. First of all, I thought that Blake Shelton would have picked you.
Well, he did. He turned around. I was the one who didn't pick him, which was
Really?
kind of crazy. Yeah.
Why not?
That's a story. That's a story. I mean, being on that stage, I never expected 4 people to turn around ever. Like my hope was, I just want one person to turn around so I don't look like a fool here on TV. And then to have all 4 was just like the most surreal moment. And I'm looking at these 4 legends, these icons, bro, and and I thought I was always going with Blake,
For sure.
But then Camila opened her mouth, and it was like
What'd she say?
like just somebody I knew from back home. She was like, "What's up, bro?" Like, 305 love, and she went to the same high school as my brothers, and it just felt like a natural connection. I was like, this is someone that we're gonna hit it off right away.
Yeah.
And for sure, because it's that hometown love,
Which is crazy. That's kind of the best part about you. It's you tend to you're Cuban American, country artist. Is there any other in the United States like that?
There's a couple guys. My friend Sammy Arriaga, who I just opened up for, he's one of them. Ricky Valito, who's doing it here, who's great. There's only a couple, bro. There's a handful of us.
Not a lot.
There's like maybe 3 or 4 of us.
So how's Nashville? Talk to us about Nashville. You're living in Nashville. What are you doing in Nashville? Why is Nashville so important?
So I'm living in Nashville. I kind of split my time between Nashville and Miami, which is awesome because I miss Miami like crazy when I'm in Nashville. But Nashville's been so important because, like I said, I took what was proven here to the big time, and now it's proven to start working. It's proven to start working over there. Which
Where are
is
you playing
great.
over there?
We played at Old Red and all up and down the Strip for a long time, and now I do more of like touring, and also a lot of songwriting, which is what Nashville is known for.
Yeah.
That's where the songwriters are. That's been the biggest thing over there is just my songs have gotten better, my songwriting has gotten better, the music has gotten better, because when you're around so much talent and so many people doing it the right way,
Yeah.
it just levels up.
And are people kind of like you writing with people, or like how does that kind of work for somebody that is not in your industry, that doesn't know what they actually need to do?
Yeah, so
'Cause everybody kind of feels like it's like an artist is somebody depressed in their bed, with like the little flashlight, like writing these songs. Is that how it is, or
No, that's how it started for me. That's how I started, was here in my room by myself with my thoughts and all the stuff that had happened. And I wrote a lot of sad songs. Actually, during the time that I was learning to play, I was going through a breakup. So I wrote a lot of sad songs and all sorts of songs. And it was just me for a long time. But what changed was the songwriting culture in Nashville. And what's big in Nashville is called co-writes. So you go into a room with, say, 2, 3 people, sometimes even 4 or 5, and you get together and you start throwing ideas. Hey, listen, I have this title for a song, Long Gone Lullaby, which is one of my songs. I have this title for a song, and then this, we'll go around. Oh, I like that, bro. What do you think? What's the story behind that? What are you thinking about that? And you start building from there. And you leave that session, whether it be 2, 3, 4 hours, with a complete song.
wow? And so it's your song, and they're kind of helping you, and you're helping them, and everybody's kind of doing their own song, kind of helping each other.
Yeah, everybody's a co-writer on the song. You all split the ownership. You all split the money,
So
the songwriting money, and it's that's how Nashville goes around, man. Nashville is built on the backs of songwriters.
man, that's a real right there.
Yeah, yeah.
Let me ask you something. I feel like where you're in right now is a very first of all, it's a very difficult market that you're trying to attack. If you were my son, I'll love you and support you, but I probably wouldn't sleep perfectly well at night, because it's a massive risk. It's a massive gamble. It's not that we don't trust in you. It's not that we don't believe you're great. We love you, but how many people can love you so that you can generate money, make a living out of it? Does that ever those thoughts kind of cross your mind?
Absolutely. It's a big risk. I took a big risk, bro. Big risk. And my parents have been nothing but supportive. But in the beginning, they did have those questions. And it started with the acting thing, going to school and studying acting. It was Pablo, can you do something else, bro? Is there anything else? You would be a great lawyer. You would be a great lo que sea, brother. I mean, another thing that I enjoyed was sports journalism. So I did that for a year in college, and I realized
AUF.
Yeah, and I realized, bro, I missed the stage. Like, I'm an entertainer. It's what I was born to do. I feel most alive on that stage. So now when I took this big jump and you know, started making a band and touring around and doing music full time, my parents quickly realized that, yeah, he won't be happy unless he's doing this, you know?
Yeah.
And they've supported me every step of the way, but it's been a grind. It's been a grind, bro. And like, they never doubt me, not for a second, but there's been moments that I've been broken. There's been moments that I've been down. And even now, coming off a wave of, you know, last year was a wave of like, first part of the year was a high, and then the second part of the year was a freaking crash.
Yeah.
And so it's up and down, but they've been incredibly, like, my parents are the biggest blessing I have. They're just so supportive and so loving through it all.
So what do you think? What's going on right now? You know, in your career, that would you say you're in like a, not a valley, but you feel like you're in the grind right now?
Yeah, I'm definitely in a valley, actually, you know. Like I said, the first half of last year was releasing a bunch of music, a bunch of momentum. Motherland came
you're
out.
holding it. You're
viral videos, like, it was awesome. And then, you know, that wears off. And you always have to keep feeding it with the next thing. What's the next thing? What's the next thing? And at the end of last year, it just kind of got pretty stagnant. And I got actually turned down by a couple record labels in Nashville, which is always disappointing and disheartening. And at the end of the year, I got turned down by the second one, and really had to take a good look in the mirror this whole month of January of like, where do we go from here, bro? We've taken it to this point, but how do we take it to the next level where we're actually feeling like we're in the game?
Have you lost hope in what you're doing? Do you feel more focused, or how do you feel? Because you just told me you just lost, you know, even a few people of your team, too.
Yeah, I've lost a few team members, my manager, social media manager. I've had to, you know, as hard as it is to let go of people you love and you've been working with, sometimes you got to make the tough decisions for your career, you know, and for your business and for what you think is going to, I'm sure, as you know.
Yeah. People think that you're just, you know, on a stage there with people taking pictures and video of you, but they don't realize that, you know, you're putting your own content, you're, you know, signing up for your own gigs and paying the bills. Like, essentially, you run your own business.
It's a business. It's a business, bro. At the end of the day, music, it's the music business, you know, and you still have to take those elements of like, having a team that is working for you and working hard for you, you know, and was working just as hard as you're working.
Yeah.
And, man, that's the only way this thing runs right. And so I've had to strip back and use this moment as like a regrouping and, you know, as refocusing and retooling. And I haven't, you know, for a while there, I was disappointed and I was down.
Yeah.
But I will never quit, bro. I will never quit. And now I'm more hopeful than ever.
We're here to support you. So talk to me about a couple short-term goals that you feel. Do you have short-term goals and long-term goals?
Yeah, absolutely.
So talk to us about some short-term goals that you have that you would want to share with us.
Yeah, so a couple short-term goals. I want to release before the summer. I want to release 3 songs. The first one will be coming out in March. I'm trying to get some of these pieces of the team filled back in. I want to do. So right now at the moment, I'm actually collaborating with John Cicada, and a couple other Miami folks, George Noriega, and a couple other Miami folks, to try to experiment with this kind of country Latin fusion. And so that's another goal of mine, is to make a few demos of what this could sound like.
See what happens.
And see what happens with it.
Long term?
Long term, man, I want to get on a tour. I want to open up for a big artist and get on a tour. I want to get on a couple of these festivals. I want to make my Grand Ole Opry debut. Yeah. That's a big one for me. I want to get a song on Top 40 and country radio.
Yeah, there's a lot of.
Yeah.
Don't take this the wrong way. You're a Miami kid, Cuban parents, born in Westchester. Mm-hmm. Do people ever say like, "Hey, you're not country enough for this industry"?
For sure, yeah, for sure. And I've encountered some of that in Nashville, man. Because you know, what's different is also scary. You know, what's different is also dangerous sometimes. You know, that's the way it's seen sometimes. Is that's just different. And sometimes you got to break through that barrier of difference to show them, hey, listen, it's different, but it's cool and you might like it.
Yeah.
And so I feel like I belong in the country world. I feel like I definitely can make a name there, and I feel like the country world is ready for a little to be shaken up a little
A
bit.
little Cuban flair.
Yeah,
Well, I wonder if you're ready for some rapid fire.
let's do it. Let's do it.
What was the first song you sung live?
What are you listening to, Chris Stapleton?
Where would you take a girl on a first date?
Oof. That's a good one, bro. The beach? Yeah, I like the beach.
What's the first thing you do when you wake up?
Check my phone is so bad, but yeah.
We all do. It's a tough one. Miami or Nashville?
Miami, 100%.
Would you ever make an album in Spanish?
Yes.
Your go-to place to have lunch?
Keg South.
Keg South.
I love the keg, bro.
That's in the alley.
Love the. I gotta give a shout out to Duffy's though. I know we were talking about it earlier. Duffy's a Miami staple, and man, a spot that I've been going to since I was a kid.
Yeah, we've all been there.
Shoot, I love that place.
There's actually an episode with Wayne.
Wayne, a legend.
And we talk about what it is to run a business and
A Miami legend.
how do you feel to sell the business. Because, imagine everything you're going through, everything I'm going through. 40, 50 years from now, we got to make a decision, like, what are we going to do with this business?
Yeah.
And essentially, he decided to sell it. That's a crazy movie. Really.
Big tough decision. But I mean, what he was able to accomplish with that place is just like a Miami staple, man. It breaks my heart to see it go, but I understand business is business, and at some point you reach, you said 40, 50 years down the line, you reach that point where you got to make
the move.
that
See,
tough decision.
That's exhausting too.
For sure, bro. In the restaurant business, listen, from somebody who's been in it, who's been a bar back, bartender, server, it's such a tough industry, man. And people take it for granted, like, oh, I want to open up a bar. I have a lifelong dream of opening up a bar. My dad says it all the time. I want to open up a dive bar. I was like, Dad, you don't understand how much goes into that. You don't understand how many hours, how much grinding, how much time, how much hair you'll lose if you get into that industry. You have to run a bar with so much care.
I think you gotta run anything with so much care.
Absolutely.
Like everybody sees, like, damn, I want to be a country artist. I want to live in Nashville. I want to live in Miami and travel. And like, what is it you have here? You got the city of Miami proclamation.
Yeah.
Can you open it up? Like everybody
cool.
wants this.
This is cool. I don't know if you can see it there, but
Yeah, we can see it. The Cuban Cowboy.
oh no, I dropped it.
Party foul. So when are you gonna? Oh, wait, first of all, when are you gonna frame this thing?
I need to frame it soon, bro. Like,
Bro, you want to leave it here and not frame it?
Yeah, listen, bro. You want to? I'll pay
Leave
you
it
for
here.
whatever it is. Yeah, bro. But this is great. I have it hanging around like a piece of little paper, like like a poster board.
So where were you
like
when
eighth grade poster board?
You said that you were in Nashville and they called you up?
Yeah, I was in Nashville. My friend Damian Pardo, Commissioner Damian Pardo, shout out. That's the boy right there. He called me up. He's like, "Hey, man, we want to give you a proclamation. Are you here?" I said, "Damian, I'm not here, bro, but I'll be there tomorrow." Like, what's up? He's like, "Thursday, we want to give you a proclamation." And man, I was able to go to City Hall and in front of the mayor, in front of everybody, was able to play some of my song too, sing some of my song, and get this proclamation. One of the best days I've had, dude. It's awesome.
I think those days are important,
Yeah.
because we're in that tunnel vision sometimes, in that valley. But I think it's important, honestly, that you never lose focus on like the big picture. The big, like the small wins are always like big milestones in our career, because it's not easy to do what you're doing. It's not easy to do what a lot of people do, but you just got to keep like grinding towards it. And as long as you don't quit, I know you're gonna make it.
That's the thing. That's the thing, and I've heard that a lot, and it's so true, man. Like you were saying, the day in, day out grind gets rough, bro. Moments like that proclamation, moments like that Motherland connecting, and playing at the Grove Arts Festival the other day. Moments like that make it so worth it. But the day in, day out grind is so hard, and the valleys are so tough. But if you don't quit, what I've learned and what I've heard is that if you don't quit, eventually you will make it happen, bro. Eventually it's gonna happen. I have all the faith in the world that it's gonna happen.
No, we have all the faith in you. So what's coming up next?
So I got a couple cool shows coming up here in Miami. I'm gonna be playing Carnival Miami next March 1st. I don't know when this is airing, but March 1st I'll be playing that. March 28th, a show I am super excited about. Lincoln's Beard, the back of Lincoln's Beard Brewery. We're doing a Nashville takeover night. I'm bringing a 9-piece band from Nashville. We're gonna have all the regular instruments, but we're gonna have a fiddle. We're gonna have keyboard. We're gonna have 5 different artists from Nashville, including myself. some incredible artists: Faith Schuler, Carissa Ella, Evelyn Thurston, who I sang on The Voice with.
Nice.
And we're gonna do a badass takeover. It's gonna be a lot of fun, country music all night.
Everybody's got
long.
to be there. We got to
For sure. Friday, March 28th at Lincoln's Beer.
How do they sign up? Like, how do they register? They show up? Or?
Completely open to the public, completely free that night. It's gonna be a freaking riot.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Well, listen, you guys got to get there. And everybody has their journey. That's kind of what the best part about this podcast is. People say, what is this podcast about? It's about people's story. And it's important that people realize that the path to success is never linear. You're just at the beginning of it, but we've had a lot of people that are at the end of it, you know. But, you know, even in the 5-6 years that you've been writing and then the last 20 years that you've been as an artist, you know, you thought you were in acting. You thought you were going to go in journalism. You thought you were going to be in a band with your boy in the old, you know, the
O2 band,
the O2 band, and it's like constantly like a pivot, you know. And that's the most important thing that I want you guys to know is that don't ever think that a closed door is like the end of your story. Like you gotta, if you really believe in what you've been called to do and what you've been set apart to do, which is the reason that, you know, we call it the Set Apart Podcast. If you really feel like you've been set apart to do something, there's no door locked enough for you to get to where you're at. And
That's facts.
And we know that, you know, you're gonna succeed as long as you don't quit, and we definitely know that you're gonna succeed as well as you don't quit. So
thanks, bro.
Whatever we can
Appreciate
do to
that.
support you, bro.
No, I appreciate that so much, man. I just a firm believer of that message, bro. Like at this moment, I think I obviously said a door that I was putting so much hope and so much of my future into got slammed in my face, and now it's just about, okay, I took a step back, breathe. This is still the path I'm on. This is still what I want to do. This is still my passion. Redirect, keep moving forward, bro.
That's
it.
Balante.
Balante.
Well, thanks for coming on the show. We appreciate it. We'll see you on the 28th at Link Green Brewery. We'll also catch you on March 1st on the Carnival on the Mile, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Thank you, guys. Awesome, brother. Appreciate you. Thank you, guys.